Hello friends, today what we are gonna do is we are gonna work on the Georgie's MVC application and expose part of the application of services so it can communicate with React application, the SPA React application. Let me start Visual Studio, pull the application, and after that we'll see how we're gonna do it. Actually, we have done it already this, so I'm gonna show some of the code we have done, and after that I'll think loudly. This is what I'm gonna do. Let me make sure I'm recording. I don't see the recorder for some reason. Yeah, here we go. Of course it's here. It just shows how long I haven't done that. And thanks to Georgi Dragomiru, he has created a pipeline, DevOps pipeline in Azure. We're gonna prepare another video for that. So if you push your application to master, it triggers a build, artifacts are created, and after that deployed to Azure, which is just wonderful. So let me show you before I pull our changes how it works. Control F5 and let's try to recall what do we have here. Okay, library, I'm not sure I have registered myself, but let me try. Probably login. Yeah, I'm inside. It says hello Stoyan Chereshov. We have used Microsoft Identity, not STS Security Token Service. OpenID Connect or Alt0. So this is typical application, home, members, books. Great. Okay. So everything works fine. The only problem right now is that we cannot use, for example, React application to communicate with this application. It is a monolithic architecture. Let me look at areas. Look at here. We have only identity. In the controllers, we have book controller, which actually implements the CRUD, create, retrieve, update, delete, using entity framework. We haven't even separated the business logic into a services layer. Here, they are a little bit confusing terms. Services, which are exposed outside of the applications. This is the API, I'm gonna call it API. And services as another project eventually, or at least a folder in which we put our classes which implement the business logic, and after that we inject these classes into our controller. So the controller's layer is a very thin layer. The business logic is into the services folder or even in a separate application. The best is to be in a separate application. And now architectural goal, our goal is in our architecture to add API here into this monolithic MVC application. Let's see how we done it. First things first, we can do it directly into the controllers. Let's say we have a books controller or landings controller. We have here index action, which represent from the CRUD retrieve, which shows all the books or all landings. After that, we have here auto-generated details, which is again retrieve, but individual landings. We have edit, which allows us to edit, create before that. So CRUD, create, retrieve, update, delete. Create, edit represents update, and of course we have edit. Of course, we have to have two different methods. One of them is for getting, representing the form, showing the form. This is where we land when we decide actually to edit a landing. We end up being on this page because we get here with the method get, HTTP method get. After that, we have edit, but with post when we hit the button submit. The same with create. Here we are coming to this, we enter this method when we hit the button create, and this just shows the form for creating a new landing. Okay, and after that we have delete. Here in .NET they usually use two methods for get and post. Delete again with get, just to show you that the consent screen where it asks you, are you sure you want to delete this record? And after that, if you hit a button, the message, the request has been sent with the post, and we go to the delete confirmed. Okay, and this is private decimal, calculate amount owned, future works. Okay, and let's say now we want to expose all the landings, for example, but we want to expose it as a RESTful API. There are different kind of APIs. One of them is RESTful. The first one historically was remote procedure calls, RPC. We used to use this with web services description language. This was the first attempt to standardize remote procedure calls. They're not standard. So each API is specific. Each API you have to learn. The creator has to explain how it's created, what kind of methods do you have. It gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility, but at the same time is not a standard. If you turn to one API to get the information, you have to learn. You have to learn first the API, the methods. Otherwise, the idea is this. When you execute, when you call a method, actually you don't care if this method gets executed on the very same machine, in the very same application, or this method connects to another method on a remote server, gets the jobs done, gets the job done, gets the information and returns to us. So this is the idea which stays behind the remote procedure call. For example, if you have a JavaScript application, there is a way to declare a method in JavaScript which is a mirror of the method which stays on the server. You call the method in the JavaScript. This method creates communication with the server, remote procedure call to a server, gets the things done. After that, gets the results and returns the results. This is the idea which stays behind RPC. Right now, the most modern way of doing this is through gRPC. gRPC, there is even such a template in Visual Studio. We can create a gRPC which standardizes things in a certain way, but this is a topic for another day. We're going to discuss this probably maybe later if we haven't done it yet. And GraphQL. So there are three ways right now to create API. One of them is RESTful, which is the most widely adopted and used RESTful. I'm not gonna go deep into this, but RESTful comes from a dissertation where the guy tries to represent internet, and he is examining the internet actually as a state machine, representative state, let me think, it's acronym, REST state transfer. Yeah, this is what it is. Representative state transfer. This is what REST means. REST, gonna delete it. And after that, they have added only full to represent the APIs, which are created this way. Again, we have a CRUD in RESTful. It's a very simple, if I give you the endpoint, you can do create, retrieve, update, delete. And we do the very same thing here, as we can see. No, don't save. I don't want to save it. Okay, so enough talking, enough theory. Let's try, for example, to expose the four methods CRUD in Box controller. Right now, we saw that we are doing this. We saw it. We can do this on a standard way. I don't even know how to call these applications, these web applications, which always refresh the pages. They are not called single page applications. They're the opposite of the single page applications. For each one of these methods, we have a page. So for index, we refresh the entire page. We show one page. You can think for this method as pages. Right now, what we are going to do is, let's pretend that we are going to build a single page application with React, for example, Angular, Vue, and we want to do the very same things. We want to do CRUD. Okay, so one way of doing this is adding another method. What would be this method? Very simple. We have to hack. Hacking is the basic thing we do, actually. The main thing we do in programming, in developing, in real development. I'm not talking about the theory or all this kind of stuff. So let's copy actually a method from an API application. This is what we are gonna do. I'm gonna create a new project. I'm gonna create C# all platforms, console application. No, I wanna create a web application. ASP.NET Core web application. I'm surprised that they still call it ASP.NET Core web application when everything is .NET. I didn't update my Visual Studio recently. I don't want .NET Framework. All I want is .NET Core web application. I'm gonna click next, and since this application, I'm gonna copy parts from it. I'm not gonna use it, so I'm gonna call it delete me. Say user source repos. I'm gonna call it web API, RESTful API. I'm gonna call it like that, RESTful API. Let me start my pointer, File Explorer, and my disks are getting full. Okay, let me see if it works right now. Okay, so web RESTful in user source repos. Okay, let's not forget to remove it. Create this application. Now I'm gonna say I want API. Web application model view controller. This is the application we have so far, and we are gonna add the API capabilities to this MVC controllers application. Web application and project template. This is with Razor pages, not with MVC, and empty, of course. We should be able to start with empty and create whatever we like. Anyway, configure for HTTPS. I don't even care about that, but okay, let me leave it as it is. Docker support, we are not gonna allow Docker. Create. Let me run this application right now and see how it looks. And this is exactly what we want from our application. Okay, so Control F5. My application, my Visual Studio, as I said, hasn't been updated recently. So I saw that they implemented Swagger, which is a front end, automatic front end. I hit Control F5 and let's see what happens now. Gonna hit it again. Nothing happens. Very strange. It should be building and running the application. Okay, let me try like that. Am I on English, Bulgarian, whatever? For some reason the shortcut didn't work. Okay, so now weather forecast. Here we go. Here we go. This is the raw data and this is the parse data. This is exactly what we want from for our books, for example, in our library application. We want the data about different books. It came to my mind to tell you why actually we have gRPC and GraphQL. Look at here right now. We have right now we don't have a CRUD, but what we are gonna do is we are gonna implement CRUD for books, for example. And this is how we are gonna get the books. But let's say we have an author here. I'm gonna show this later. And for some reason, on a page, on a single page application, we want to show the book, but we want to show more information about the authors. The authors are kept in a different collection, if it's NoSQL database, or in different table. In order to do that, our single page application should do the following. Should get the information about the book, and after that should do another round trip to the server to get the information about the author. So actually to represent the books and the authors and more information for the authors, it should do a lot of round trips to the server. For each book, it should go to the author, get more information and display it. So that's why they come up with GraphQL APIs. Actually, Facebook came up with this idea. I don't remember when exactly, back in 2012, 2014 or something. I'm not quite sure. But this information should be checked. And gRPC I met recently, okay, 2018, 2019. As I said, actually this is a modification of the very, very old idea. Okay, so how can we make actually our application, our current MVC application, respond this way? Let's look at the controllers. Obviously, there is a controller weather forecast. Let's find this controller in our application. Okay, look the structure of the API. This project is a pure API. It's created only for serving services, for serving APIs. Weather forecast controller. Let me open this controller and see how it looks. API controller, root controller, weather forecast controller, controller base. Okay. So private static read only string surname. Summaries, new. Okay. Private read only log. This is logging the information. This is a property which actually contains the information instead of reading the information from a database, and this is what we want. Look now, all we have to do is just copy this. Of course I'm gonna copy this information as well. Let me do this like that. So I'm gonna copy and paste only once. I'm gonna delete the extra information. It says API controller, router controller, root controller. So this is what we got, but we have the very same thing here. Let me go back to our library management and show how we're gonna expose this. Authorize public class controller. Again, inheritance is the very same, controller base. Controller base. I believe the controller actually inherits controller base, so that's why we won't worry too much. We're gonna put it at the end. This should go away. We don't need that. Weather forecast, as you can guess, is a model. It has a model. I can even put the class definition here as a nested class. Yeah, we can do that. Or we can go to the models. I'm not gonna save anything. Actually, I cannot. I have to save something. Whatever, well, I will figure out a way to do it. So private static read only string summaries, blah 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 blah. Read only. This is the data which is gonna fill the weather forecast. I'm gonna go to the models. With the git, I'm gonna use git. I'm gonna remove every change I have done. So here in models, we'll need a weather controller. Let me go to another application. Weather forecast, look, they even didn't bother to put it in a folder model. They just simply put it in the root of the application. So we're gonna copy this. Actually, because I'm too lazy, I'm gonna copy first this, create, yeah, weather controller, new class. It's a simple model. It's a class. Oh, I made weather forecast add. Here we go. We're gonna go back here. Of course, it's gonna be in a different namespace in our application, in the library, as you can see. Put it here. And my application should be happy now. Notice something else. The name of the method is just get here. So we have index where we're supposed to land index. And right now we have another candidate, which is get. In order to differentiate them or to make the distinction, we have to name it somehow. I can call it API get, a pget, for example. I'm just showing right now how to add to an existing MVC controller API capabilities. We can add 4 methods here: get, put, update, delete, which actually represent the CRUD, and we will have it working. Now save it. What happens if we run it right now? It should run fluent. It gets built right now. Okay, we got it. Login again. Where I am right now? Books. Okay, if I click books, I get index. I don't get this method. How shall I call it in order to get it? What about get? And voila. we have it. If you like, of course, we can name it differently. I'm gonna pull actually what Georgie has done and show you that he has renamed this get to something else. So nothing prevents us actually for using APIs this way. Right now, our application can use the APIs and it doesn't need STS or tokens, joke tokens or something, because notice something. The identity is already done. Authorize. The identity is done, and if there is a same origin, and in this case is gonna be there is a same origin policy, our front-end application, our SPA single page application, if it's on the very same domain, will be able to communicate with this API, and this API on top of that is going to be protected. Nobody outside of the world without login will be able to access the API, which is a good thing. Right now what we did actually is we said, okay, what about instead of exposing right now weather forecast, what about if we want to show the books? So I'm not gonna even delete that. I'm gonna copy this and say here not get, but I'm gonna say get books, for example. Itemable. Okay, let me come here. Action result, get books, because it's async here. Task I action result. Index, we're gonna return book. We're gonna return book. So I'm not gonna return weather forecast, I'm gonna return book. And now comes to play the architectural style, and here we will see why should we extract our business logic. This is the business logic, and put it into service layer, because right now we shouldn't be copying and pasting here. Okay. This copy paste shouldn't happen. All this information, all this thing which we are doing here, var books from books, should be in a service layer and injected into the controller. This way, both methods, this index and the method below, which we are creating right now, will be able default book order, blah 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 blah. Okay, so they will be able to use it. Let me try to do that. So random, we don't need that. Okay, so now we have the books. Okay, what we want to return here is books. I enumerable. Let me see, I enumerable to array. We had a little bit troubles here, so we should say right now return books. Come on, what did I hit right now? Books to array. To array, let me try its generic book. Yeah, let me see if that's gonna work. Okay, so This is all we have to do. We had a little bit struggle with Georgia last time we tried to do that because we simply forgot to change unumberable from weather forecast to book or whatever was it. In our case, it wasn't a book. It was get books. Okay, it was lending, as far as I remember. But right now we shouldn't be having any troubles. Any troubles. String sort order. String search string. Yeah. When we sent actually the request to this method of the API, we can add sort order and we can add search string, which is very useful. We also can do pagination and all this kind of stuff with the APIs as well. Okay, so that was it actually. We can run it, get books, save it, run it. Now, if I try to access, I won't be able. Oh, why did I log out? Christ. Okay, so let me look at the books right now. Controller books /v books, and here we go. Here we go. As you can see right now, we got the books as API, as a RESTful API. So this is a JavaScript array, and this is a JavaScript object. And we got the very same information as we do going back to the index. But on the index action, we have fully blown page, alt approach, if I can call it this way. And here we got only the API. So what about if you want actually to have a fully blown API? Because right now from the CRUD we have only the retrieve. What if we want to have update, delete, and all this kind of stuff? Yeah, we can do it into the very same controller. Here instead of HTTP GET we can put post and add whatever we like. Let us do that here into this application controller. Right now we don't have a CRUD here. We have only one simple controller. Let me add another controller here. Add controller. Let's call it MVC controller. MVC controller views using entity framework. What do we want actually? We want API controller with actions using entity framework. Okay. Notice this. Into an API application, you very easy can create a controller, MVC controller, and vice versa. So, API controller with actions using entity framework. We don't have a context, database, model, whatever. So we gotta create one model. Okay, let me first create one model, and after that, do that. Click with right mouse button. Add a new folder, which I'm gonna call models. So we're gonna borrow the ideas from this template of the API. This is the main thing. Since we started with book, we will continue with book. Even though with Georgie we did a lending, which is the most difficult actually. Book. We're gonna copy this from our existing application. In our models, what do we have in our models? Do we have book? Yeah, we do. Okay, class book. Okay, let me copy this. Christ, book category. I'm gonna delete this book category because foreign key. We'll make it simple. String author. Do we have authors here? No, we don't, thanks God. Okay, so this navigational property will go. Not gonna have navigational properties. Display name, yeah, control dot component and custom book, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's done. Now we have book model. Now we can create a controller here. Click add controller API controller using entity framework. Add model class. Oh, I have to build it, otherwise I'm suspecting that I'm gonna get errors. Let me build the application first. This is a strange thing. Control Shift B is build application, so I'm building the application. It has been built successfully. Now I can do whatever I like. Use a assistant in IntelliCode for completion based on your code. By clicking yes, enable it. Yes, enable it. Visual Studio IntelliCode team completion. IntelliCode automatically learns usage patterns from code and provides. Yeah, I want Visual Studio to think instead of me. Yeah, that's for sure. Even write the code instead of me in my behalf. Analyze your solution locally, extract a summary file, download and activate, blah 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 blah. Okay, very good things. Okay, I'm happy. I'm gonna even leave it open. So controller, what I was about to do, controller, API controller, add book. Now data context class is gonna be created for me. So web RESTful delete me data. It's gonna create a folder called data where's the context. Yeah, of course I want this. And it's gonna be called box controller created. And I will have a RESTful API without authorization, of course. It's gonna be public API, not protected. Now our application, MVC application, is even more protected than the one we use to steal the code. Not steal the code, it's not a good term, but borrow the code. So if the machine can write something for me, why not use it? Okay. If you're that much badass, IntelliCustom completion, see finished learning, method usage pattern, new current workspace. Okay, great. Okay, so if you're that smartass or badass, you can remember all this and type it yourself. I don't care. I don't mind. Do it the way you like it. That's up to you. So now we have a source from which we can copy. Of course, the best source is to have your own application somewhere created in repositories, and you copy and paste very precious snippets of code. But even if you don't have snippets of code, here it is how you do it. And from here, right now, you can do whatever you like. API controller, it's called API controller. In other words, you have to add to the URL API, and after that mention the name of the controller. In this case is books. What do we have here? This is the constructor. This from the CRUD is the retrieve. To list the sync, it's even a sync, as you can see. Get API books 5. This is the details. Get book, as we do have in a classical application, web application. Here we have put, which is edit. Here we should have post somewhere, which is equivalent to create. Now we're gonna try with postman. Get book, return create. It's a very simple way to create and delete here. We don't have a consent pages, so it's absolutely simple. HTTP method delete. There are a lot of HTTP methods. Delete book. Book exists. This is private bullet. It's used by the methods. Okay, that's great. So let me run it. Control F5. Now, where the forecast? Here we have API books. We're going there with the get method right now. Unhandled exception occurred while processing the request. Of course, the database hasn't been built. SQL check can open database, blah 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 blah. Login failed for user desktop, blah blah blah. Microsoft SQL exception cannot open database. Okay, we gotta do the migrations and all this kind of stuff requested by login. Do we have to do that actually? Do we want to do that? Stack Microsoft Data SQL. Okay, so let me come here. Do we gotta do migrations? Microsoft Data SQL, Client SQL, internal connection error. Of course, we don't have this database. By the way, I don't want to have this database because I have to delete this database as well. Do we want to run this to NuGet package manager console? Migrations. Yeah, we can do migrations. Get help NuGet. Update database. Get help NuGet. What's gonna happen now? PM get help. Topic about NuGet. Short description. Blah 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 blah. Get package. Install package. Uninstall package. App migration. Initial migration. Oops. Do I want to do that? Build started, build succeeded, Microsoft Entity Framework, blah blah, migration done. So all I have to do now, update database, app migration, initial migration. The folder migration has been created. Okay, update database, build started, blah 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 blah. Now, no type was specified for the decimal column cost of that book on Entity Framework book. This will cause value to be silently truncated. Okay, I don't care right now at this point. So the database has been created. Okay, let me look at in the app settings. What do we have? Yeah, here we go. It's gonna be called web RESTful API delete context blah blah. So with two simple steps we have created the database, we added the migration, and we are using Entity Framework. Whatever. Now we can run it and it's gonna work. Okay, API, I'm gonna close this. Let me go here. Let me see. Anti-array, but the application works. As you can see, application runs. So Postman We're playing right now, we're playing, nothing else. How we can do the very same thing but in our MVC application. Right now, in order to protect this application, we gotta use STS, probably on another domain. I'm talking about our API application. Recently I have worked with this one. Send get sent. Let me see what happens now. Empty. So if we wanna add params, authorize yes, we gotta change to post. Key value. Honestly, code params, headers, body. Show me the body. So now if I wanna save it, if I wanna create a book this way, Postman is gonna play the role of my front end. Migration builder, I don't care about that right now. Book controller, no. Models, book. I'm gonna send title. I'm gonna send title. What else? I'm gonna send author. No. Cost of book. Okay. Cost of the book. I'm gonna send 2.5. Walk the doc through author, of course, this string, and I'm gonna say token. Lord of the Rings. I like sci-fi rings. This is actually fantasy rings. What else? Location in library. What is it? A string. Section 2. Section 2. Whatever. And book category ID. Okay, this is an integer. Not quite sure. I forgot to do that. So book category ID 1. Okay. Let's pretend that this is gonna work. Okay, so JSON text JavaScript row JSON. Yeah, I want JSON. Beautify, it's beautified already. JSON HTML. So API books. We post. Look at the endpoint. It stays books. It doesn't matter what we are trying to do here in the CRUD. We just change the method send. Let's see what happens. Okay, it returns. This is actually by convention. It returns the ID. If we look into the database right now, we're going to see view Server Explorer. I do have Server Explorer here. Azure Server Desktop. Let me see if I can see it somewhere. Connect to database, connect server. I need Object Explorer, SQL Server Object Explorer. Projects, local DB, this is what I need. I have a local Okay, so local DB, local MSSQL database, project security databases. How was it called, this one? Mamma mia. MySQL. I have to start cleaning up. I'm Pushkin, as they say, extent. Let me see again. What was the name of uh, my database? So database is web RESTful API, delete me context, blah 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 blah. I didn't see that, so I have to look at probably in another SQL Server Object Explorer. System database. Here we go, here we go, here we go. I do have it. Thanks God. Tables. Book. Here we go. Go and click with right mouse button, view code, view design, view data. And here we go. Lord of the Rings Tolkien 250 section 2. Of course, we can see it from our RESTful API here. We are gonna change it to get. We're gonna send the request, and we are getting back one. If you wanna add more, or if we wanna edit, for example, we can go with put. Of course, here in this case, we gotta say one. There is another way to do it, but Lord of the Rings Tolkien Jr. We'll say Tolkien Jr. We'll try to edit right now with put method, and here we go. But request error. Status for trace ID, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we made an error, we made a mistake. API books one put. Title Lord of the Rings. What did we do? Left. Section, Lection, type 1. Let me see the URL here. Books controller. Pbooks 5. Okay, that's fine. Put book. Here we go. I don't see any problems, but if it says there is a problem, probably it is a problem. Okay, so this is the book we are sending. Where is the error? Tolkien Jr. Let me try again. No. But request. Oh, did I run the application? Yeah, of course. I'm not running the application. It's that simple. My application is not running, so that's why. But right now I'm gonna say send, and we still get this error. Why do we get this error? Right now it's running. Am I running the proper application? RESTful, blah 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 blah. Let me check here. What do we have here? Books, yeah. Okay, so it's running. What I'm supposed to do right now? Local PA put, okay. I have changed the title, author. Of course, I don't have to send ID because I'm sending the ID here. Come on. Type but request 400 status, trace ID. Row. Preview. Pretty. Visualize. Pretty. Why I cannot update? Beautify. Uh, Book category 1. Okay, that's fine. Section 3. I don't see the reason why I cannot update right now my book. Is it the book Lord of the Rings, Tolkien Jr., blah 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 blah. Everything's supposed to be right. I play too long with this. So everything should work properly right now. Put ID. I send you the ID. Put token. It's integer. It put path request return. ID different from book ID. Path request ID. What is the ID? ID is ID 1. As far as I can see here in my... Where did it go? Let me stop this. Book data. Back category ID. Here it is. The ID is ID 1. Lord of the Rings. The ID number 1. Is the ID something different than integer? No, I don't think so. Put ocelot. Yeah, launchpad. Okay, whatever. So put bat request. It returns bat request 400 trace ID. What about delete? JSON text JavaScript. It's not JavaScript, of course. JSON HTML XML. It is JSON what I'm sending. This is the body I should be sending. Lord of the Rings. Row. None. Format data. Key text. Okay, I'm gonna tell you title here. What about Lord? Lord 2. Okay, form data. Description. I don't need description, but I'm gonna put description of the title. Not delete, I'm gonna insist with put title. Okay, send. Sending request. Yeah, of course the application is not running, probably. Yeah. Control F5. Now it is running. Let me refresh here, make sure that it's running. Now with my postman, I'm gonna say post, and I'm still getting bat request. Type, blah blah, unsupported media type. Unsupported media type. Come on. Roll. Binary. No. Roll. I know why, because I didn't send rest token unsupported media type. Not gonna play more with this. I'm gonna delete it. Now I don't have to send anything. This delete should be okay. Okay, so it has been deleted. Let me confirm this by looking into the database. Refresh. Yeah, no, so only the edit for some reason didn't work, but I'm gonna pass this because My goal is to do the very same thing right now in my MVC application, and will have the time after that. I will play with it. Okay, so now how are you gonna do the very same thing here? Of course, we can click on the controller here, set add, set controller, choose API controller, and build API controller. But I don't want these controllers to be here in this controller. I have seen architectures where actually the controllers are in different folders. It's a different style. So what I want actually is to present so-called areas. With one application, you can create many different websites, if you want to call it this way. In this case, what I want is to create area, which I'm gonna call right now MVC area, MVC controller entity, blah 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 blah. I want to create one area, which I'm gonna call API. Look, even identity is into a separate area. I'm gonna say add. And now in the area, I want to create my API. In contrast, with the API which I can create inside of existing controllers of MVC controllers. And this is a proper way actually to separate the concerns. I have to say that area should be in a different, actually in a different application. Services we have to have in a different application as well, but this disassembling, look what it says. Scaffolding has generated all the files and added the required dependencies. Perfect. Will controller data models view. It's a separate application. However, the application's startup code may require additional changes for the things to work end to end. Add the following code to the configure method in your application's startup class if not already done. It hasn't been done, so I gotta go to the startup, configure, up endpoints, endpoint. So far we had only default. Now we have a different one called areas. Pattern, area exists. So I have to type the name of the area, and after that the name of the controller, and after that action ID eventually, if it needs to be added. So it looks almost like this one. But we have area. And this is the name of the area. In this case, it's going to be API. What if we want to add another area here? Can we? I'm just curious right now. No. So if we want to have, for example, API / version 1, we should be changing this one on API / version 1 or something like that. So it's going to be accessed this way. What about the identity in this case? Because identity is also an area and it's automatically added here. We have to add another one which is called identity probably, but this is for another day. Okay, so right now, instead of adding our API to existing controller, which actually has a different concern, to create CRUD on a very standard way. Here we go. Of course we could. I proved that. shame on me. Put, it's not working. And I couldn't figure out why. Okay, I'm gonna look at shortly, and this is in my mind right now, but what I want to do right now is a controller. Add controller, API controller, add. I wanna book data context. I probably have one. It's gonna be called books controller, but it's an API controller in a different area. Okay, so this is much cleaner way to expose your APIs. Otherwise, the URLs will be uh, not RESTful. The URLs you won't have actually. No, you can have. Uh, you can make them actually have the very same endpoint, but putting and mixing the APIs with the standard actions is not a very good idea. Okay, look, it shows you how you can access it. So F5 to run it, and right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna log in. Right now this API is unprotected, so I'm gonna say API, as far as I remember, was books, and I'm getting the books. I could do the very same here and continue playing with my books from here. Now what do I see here? Oh my god, I just deleted the books. Okay, I just deleted the only book I had. Okay, so I did it. Books API, if I refresh it, I didn't delete it. Let me get it. How I couldn't delete it? Maybe what? Maybe nothing. Pretty row preview visualize JSON text blah 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 JavaScript body. Here we go, authorization. Here we can put access token if we need. We can see it. No out, API key, inherited, barrier. It's called a barrier, so we can add a barrier token here. If our API is protected, but it's not protected like that, so authorization, inherit out from parent, hook, a lot of authentication methods. Okay, barrier token. Okay, headers, body, blah 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 blah. Body. Title, Lord of the Rings. Actually, I can try right now to post another one and we'll see what happens. It responded with 2, which is wonderful. So we have 2 books right now in our application. It's still running. Yeah, I do have 2 books. So now if I insist and say 2 and say put, what you're gonna tell me here? You should agree, but why? But request. What is the problem? JSON move, whatever. So I may pause this video and come back when I fix this problem. Yeah, probably I'm gonna do that, but In fact, I have done my job. We know how we run existing MVC application at the API, which is going to be consumed by single page application. In case we put the single page application here inside of this application, what's going to happen is actually our API is going to be consumed only with our single page application, and is going to be protected using only Microsoft identity. We're not using barriers right now. We're not using security token joked. JSON web token, JWT. We're not using JWT or any kind of third party. Okay, so that's it actually. What I'm gonna do is try to make put work, and after that revert back, download whatever I have from Azer, from the Git repository of Georgie, and look at what he has done. When I just look at here, what do they check? Is actually you have to send the ID in the body. It doesn't matter, you send it here as well. ID, book ID. Okay, so where I am here, book 2, so I have to say here ID command. What's going on here? ID equals 2 as far as I understand. So let me try that and see what happens. ID 2, put local book Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna put 2. Is my application still running? Not of course. Control F5. Welcome to library management. I'm still logged in. So can I go to the books? Yes, I can. Do I see the books from my improvised API? I do see it. So right now, let me go here and send it. What happened now? Pretty body, Lord of the Rings 2 is gonna be easier to look at here. Lord of the Rings 2, so the problem solved actually in the body. You have to send, this is how they did it in .NET, at least in the code generator. If you wanna edit something, you have to include, even though it's a little bit redundant, you send the ID anyway here. Whatever, entity book, you send it here, but where do you use it actually? Yeah, here. Book ID, book ID. So this is how you update. Actually, what you have to do is in the body, in the postman, you still absolutely necessary have to send the ID, which you're sending here anyway, but this is how it is, okay? So Tolkien Junior, let me look at here just for fun. What was the database? Let me look at the database. Box controller, books, landing, members, scaffold, readme, okay, I remember. So here we have to open SQL Server Object Explorer. Databases. What happened now? Okay, so this is my database, which I have to drop anyway. View data. Oh my god, not in this. Of course, library. I don't remember. So, app settings, ASP.NET Library Management. Okay, ASP.NET Library Management. Here we go. Tables. We have book. We're gonna view data. Lord of the Rings 2. Here we go. So we checked the recorded data. All I gotta do right now is just revert everything what I have done. So let me look at here, git changes. Before I do anything, because I'm Plushkin, what I'm gonna do is open folder in File Explorer, library management, and I'm gonna zip it up to archive. Zip it, library management, p example, because I don't want to ruin whatever Georgie has done. Add it, p example. Now, okay, done. So let me take a look again, just for in case. Solution, open the folder, File Explorer, go back, library management. Even though I'm overloaded already with projects, I keep everything. I'm gonna buy a bigger hard drive, build a NAS network attached storage with some storage area network, all this kind of stuff. My server unfortunately broke. My HP ProLand DL360E Generation 8 gives me no disks attached, even though I have disks. So I have to buy another server, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so now library management area. How can we revert all these things? This is pull, this is fetch, this is push. I don't want to push. I don't want to commit. Those are the stashes, drop all. Then no stashes. Stash changes. Amend. I'm actually curious right now. How can I create stashes? Okay, let me click with the right mouse button here. Team Explorer. Open Git changes. Git features have moved. Library management. Azure DevOps. Work item. Builds. Azure pipelines. This is what I like to create a video about. Library management. Library management. Clone repository, library management, clone repository. I remember being able to open the console from here. Clone repository, I don't want to clone it. Let me go here. Open Git changes. More info. Oh Christ. No. This is not what I want. Open Git changes. Here we go. Commit all. Stash all. Here we go. From here we can stash it. Okay. I guess I gotta do it differently. So on PowerShell, I'm gonna go to D projects, .NET library. Okay, so git status, and those are the files which I have changed, that I have created. So now what I gotta do is, I don't want to keep all these changes. Git checkout dash dash dot. Let me check and see if actually I can remove everything what I have done. Okay, so changes 3. As I can see, the changes are still there. I haven't added them. Models weather forecast. Git checkout. Git status. I don't wanna stash, I don't wanna do anything. All I want is actually weather forecast. Remove everything what I had done right now. Stash, so git checkout minus minus dot doesn't satisfy my needs. Git log. Georgie, so this is finished, ready to deploy. Version 1.0. We have to use actually semantic versioning, so this probably is not a good version, but well, so it should be major, minor, and patch. Git log. I gotta revert back. So how can we revert? Let's take a look. Check out, what is that for instance? Version. How do I discard changes in my working copy that are not in index? Git clean only removes untracked files from the working tree. To clean, git clean minus df can be dangerous. It will delete local untracked files. Be warned, I tried that and lost key folders, unable to be restored. Hinting, git status gives a suggestion on how to do git checkout minus minus. I haven't seen a suggestion. Use git add files to include all, nothing added to commit but untracked files present. Use git add to track. I don't want to track this. I want to remove everything untracked. View branch is up to date with origin master. Untracked file. Git add files to include in what will be committed. Untracked files present. Use git add to track. No, I have to use head. And that's stupid. All I had to do is just create a branch. But I didn't think about it. I usually do this every day. And I'm still surprised of my stupidity how I didn't do that. And all the changes I had to do in my branch, and now I won't have these troubles. But it's not easy to be stupid, so okay. Now check out minus minus dot didn't do whatever I like. How to revert all my changes? This is the right question probably which I have to ask. The solution is to look up which version of the local commit. How do I revert all local changes in Git? I have a project in which I run Git init. After several commits, I did Git status, which told me everything was up to date and there were no local changes. Then I made several consecutive changes and realized I wanted to throw everything away and get back to my original state. Will this command do it for me? Git reset hard hat. If you want to revert changes made to your working copy, do this. Git checkout dot. Git checkout dot. If you want to revert changes made to your working copy. Yes, this is exactly what I did. Let me open Visual Studio so I'm gonna see what happens. I don't want in models, weather forecast, I don't want areas, box control. No. Okay. Battling with Git, I would call it. Git status. Okay, at least it shows me untracked files, API, library management models, scaffolding, readme txt, library management, scaffolding. Okay. I want these files removed from the project. Let's read further. If you want to revert changes made to the index that you have added, do this. Warning, this will reset all your unpushed commits to the master. Let me see if git reset is gonna do the job right now. Ah, come on. No. API. I'm curious. Git revert commit to. If you want to revert the changes that you have committed to do this, I'm surprised that I cannot right now remove what I have done. If you want to remove untracked files, new file, generated file, blah blah, clean. Let's see which comment is gonna do the job. But my change in box controller. Shall I close actually Visual Studio because I believe that probably it's protecting the files. I'm gonna close everything. Git clean -f, and I'm gonna check only with status. What do we have here now? Areas, folder API. Yeah. So let me try again. I tried everything. Git checkout. Okay. Git checkout dot. Git status. Again. Clean files. No. Actually, I'm gonna remove this folder entirely. So manually. So, git status. Git clean. Git checkout. Git reset. No, the folder has been created and there is no way actually to remove it. Let me see. Clean. Untracked directories. Ah, okay. Okay, so git status. Okay, I finally got to the point. Oh my god, I have to copy all these comments. So this is very, very important. If you want to revert changes made to your working copy to this. Now let me open Visual Studio and git cleanup or untracked directories, new or automatically generated directories. Mamma mia. Oh, sorry. If you want to remove untracked files, generated files, new directories, the easiest, of course, is just to create a branch, work in the branch, and avoid all this bullshit. But it's a good exercise. Git revert. If you want to revert a change that you have committed, I haven't committed anything. Untracked files. Git reset. If you want to revert changes made to index that you have added, do this. Okay, so those are the added. Git checkout. If you want to revert changes made to your working copy. Okay, so finally, this is the solution. Git clean and git clean fd. Okay, so let me open Visual Studio again. I'm gonna get the George's library management. And after that, I'm gonna clean up the database and everything. Okay, so let me see. I see the padlocks. Project loaded and ready to use. Background tasks are still running. Let them run. Run. Book. CS. Box controller shouldn't have. Book, yeah, shouldn't have the API which I have added. Landing. Book controller. What a stupid error. I didn't create a branch and work into the branch. I worked in the master, which is very stupid. Okay, sorry about that, but git changes. Probably shouldn't be, there should be any changes. Pull. Gonna pull right now. Pulling changes for the current branch. And we are gonna look at the changes we have done with George. George probably did more changes. Book controllers. Books controller. Solution. Dependencies. Huh. Packages. Oh, problem solved. Library management. Books. Action create, okay. Actually, the changes George did. Oh, action name, delete confirmed. Uh, the George did changes in control landings controller. You still can use such actions sort order. Here we go. Landings get. He called it landings get. Actually, we did landings get, but this is the API. Let me copy this and show you. I have the database, so it's not going to be a problem. Okay. Landings get. It's still loading. Wow. Why it's taking so long? Before it didn't take that long. Let's see what happens here. Still loading. Christ, what's going on here? Let me look at the areas. I showed you how to create the areas. Data. What's wrong here? Data. It's empty. Okay. We have only box controller, which has been created with automatic code generator. We shouldn't have any problems with that. And with the startup, in the startup, we have this extra information which is supposed to be added. Area exists, controller, blah 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 blah. Okay. Now let me check again. What? Now, what's going on now? Okay. After me downloading the project, I'm not actually able to run it. Why is that? Express is running. Let me build it to see if there are any. Build 2 succeeded, 0 failed, 0 up to date, 0 skipped. Okay, I should be able to run it control F5. What's wrong now? I don't know why I cannot run this project. I'll figure this out anyway. Huh. Four 44384 44384 44348 44348. Yeah, exactly the same. This also doesn't work, of course. Box. No. Okay, why is that? What's going on here? Error 500. Handle this request. Now, surprise, no issues found, blah 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 blah. It's not working on my machine. It used to work before. Surprise, surprise. Repository updated. Repository is already up to date, no changes to pull. Okay. Team Explorer. No, I don't want to open in anything. Georgie has added another project, which is a library management unit tests. That's fine. The default properties, the default project is library. Single startup, that's fine. It should be working. But it isn't. Control Shift B is build the projects. Builds the project. Build succeed, failed. 0 failed. 2 up to date, 2 skipped. Oh my god. Application settings. Okay. Let me see here. What's wrong here? Yeah. Always something to surprise you. ISP.NET. Blah 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 blah. Let me take a look at the application. Local disk projects. .NET. Library management. Library management. Library management. Development JSON. What's the problem now? Application settings. We don't need that. Information. We already had this opened. Okay. It's not gonna be easy. What I'm looking for is the file which determines actually the port where Internet Information Services is running. But unfortunately, I couldn't find it right now. I'll find it anyway. Information warnings. Let me see how long this video is. Already 1 hour 45 minutes, almost 2 hours, so I'm going to stop this right now and try to figure out what the problem is. Always there is a problem. Always, always, always. I don't know what kind of update Georgia did. Probably I have to update my Visual Studio and try again. Hmm. Yeah. Let me actually pause, update my Visual Studio, which is going to require, by the way, a restart, so I'm not going to update it right now. I'm going to stop the video, and if I have to, I'm going to do another video.